What's going on, everybody? You have just tuned in to Real Labs on 104.1. I'm your host, Mr. James John. I want to thank you guys for always supporting and showing us love. It is Tuesday. That's right, the first day of September. I am happy to be in this virtual studio with my good friends. What are we today? We are
Crown apple.
a crown. No, we're not being crown apple because I drank way too much the other day.
Yeah, I saw your Taco Bell post.
Yes, sir. That was the
Which is
truth. That was
crazy,
definitely
yo.
the
How
truth.
you go get Taco Bell after you just left the comedy club that got the best food on the planet?
Because I drank so much, I forgot to order my food. That's what I'm going to go with. All right, the voice you're hearing is Mr. Ken Miller, the Orlando Godfather of comedy. I'm also joined by my good friend, Mr. Mike Hurley. Also, we have a very special guest in studio with us. Happy to welcome her back. We have Erika Rivera. She's sexual health and wellness coach. Erika, how are you doing? Welcome
Hello.
back.
I'm doing great. It's so good to see you guys.
Gotcha.
Erica, I
How
gotta
was
be real
how
with
was
you.
it?
Hold up, James. Hold up, real quick. Erica, I
Okay.
gotta be real with you, baby. You need some curtains.
I do need some curtains.
Because right now, somebody peeking in your window. I can see them right behind you. You need to close your blinds, baby.
Right
You
there.
got close. No, go, baby. Go close your
No,
blinds.
that one doesn't close.
Girl,
Yeah, the guy.
somebody's been peeking at you for like 3 years. You don't even know.
See, last time I had my computer facing, like, you guys could see a wall behind me. And
Yeah.
listen, it's COVID. I'm bored. I've been like rearranging and trying to figure out what I want. Every day
And
is
that's what I
different.
and that's what I was going to ask you. How have you been doing with COVID? Like just being locked up in the house. How are you dealing with that?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to stay occupied.
Okay.
I do live I do live alone. So I
Gotcha.
have to figure out how to socialize on my own. And I mean, despite the COVID situation, I do make it outside of the house every now and then to have some,
Ooh,
one-on-one with my friends.
what's outside like? Tell us about
What's
it.
Yo, you can look out. You can look out her window right now, James.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just like, I'm super OCD, so I'm like changing things around in my house.
Yep.
I do Zoom calls with my niece. Of course I still have my clients. I interact
Yes.
with my clients, so that's always nice. But when it comes to like leaving the house, I carefully do, and it's nice. It's like a treat now. It's weird. Because
Good.
before we kind of took it for granted. We could be out all the
Yeah,
time.
we did.
And now when
We
I
did.
leave the house, I'm like, wow, I'm outside.
You don't know what to
How
do
many
with
nieces
yourself.
and nephews you got?
No.
How many nieces and nephews you got? I'm curious.
I have one niece, and I have
How
a
old?
couple godchildren.
How old your niece?
My niece is 6 years old.
Oh, so you spoiled her
Aw.
death?
I do.
How many god kids you got? Because I got 27.
You have 27 godchildren?
Yeah.
Kid?
Anytime my friends have a kid, I'm like, yo, I'm the godfather. I'm godfather. I'm
Wow.
the Orlando comedy, so technically I got 1,000 god kids.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah, I just have two god babies. Charlie, or Charlotte, but we call her Charlie. She's also 6 years old, and my godson is 3 years old. His name is Lucas.
Okay, I
So-
thought it was Charlie
Okay.
Puth.
I have no kids of my own, but I am the fairy godmother for everyone else.
God bless you. That's why you look well rested and happy. Okay.
Well, hair look good, hair done
Yeah.
up. She still
Yeah.
needs some curtains. I'm gonna
I need
send you some
curtains,
curtains. Yo, send me what curtains you want. I'm ordering them on Amazon.
There you go.
Some curtains.
Well, Eric, I wanted to get right into this because there's definitely a lot not going on with COVID. But I want to ask you, how does COVID affect the dating world? When you talk to clients, how are they looking to make a connection? Are they still trying at this point, or do you just stay away? So I want to talk to you about that.
So speaking with clients and also doing research of my own, and of course me being a single person myself,
Yeah.
and dating, because I'm also dating is still very much a virtual thing right now.
Okay.
People like dating apps are like the big hype, Bumble and Tinder and, things like that. But I want to bring up something called cuffing season, which is going on right now as we speak. So
Okay.
it's
But this is not like regular cuffing though. This is a little different. This is COVID cuffing.
this is COVID cuffing. Yeah.
Okay.
CC,
Explain what that is. Yeah.
So with COVID cuffing, and there's two reasons that someone might cuff, is that most people are dating now to find a life partner, where before COVID, people were dating just to date, just to have a good time and,
Yeah.
have fun with people, casually date, kind of like serial dating. That was like
Yeah.
the norm. It didn't matter if like people would say like, oh, you know, I went on a Tinder date, and it's like, it's nothing serious. But now because of COVID, it
Mhm.
seems like people are cuffing and trying to pick out a life partner because they don't want to catch COVID. Like you're
Yeah.
not going to be out there just serial dating, knowing that there's this virus going around. But at the same time, it's also because of loneliness. We've been indoors for so
Yeah.
long.
I
Now
was
that
just
we
about to, I
have,
was just about to say that. Is it
yeah,
because we just been in the house so long that you want to be like, I
you
need
want to,
somebody in here. I
exactly,
need somebody to be with me.
You right,
exactly.
because I know a bunch of brothers calling their baby mamas trying to get back with them. So yeah, you absolutely right
Ooh.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is also happening.
Hmm.
A lot of people are contacting their exes during this time,
Yep.
which if you're listening to this, please don't do that.
Friends don't let friends call their exes. Am I right?
Especially during a pandemic, because then
Demic.
you're going to be
Yeah.
stuck with that person. No, it's a recipe for
Hmm.
a disaster. But Ken is absolutely right. It's a loneliness thing. Like, a lot of people are trying to fill that void, especially if you are someone that's been single during this time. You've been indoors
Hmm.
by yourself for God knows how long. So
A long time.
the first chance that you get to socially distance with someone and have a real date face to face, like, most people are like literally cuffing to the first person that they really connect with because they don't want to be alone. You know, whether
Gotcha.
it's a conscious decision or not, that's another story. Some people are doing it subconsciously, but yeah, so that's a thing right now with the
So,
dating world.
but that's a scary proposition too. Like, let's say we get together because I'm doing the COVID cuffing. It's going great. I am praying they don't come out with a vaccine because I know once she has options, she is out. She is like,
Done.
Yeah.
Are we going to get back to that normalcy though? I still wonder. Is
No,
nope,
dating
we
going to
will.
get back to
no
normal?
time.
No, we will. I know. No
Okay,
time. Not this year. I don't
no,
think
not this
this year,
year.
but I think we
Yeah,
will. I think we'll get back to where people. I mean, I'm back out on the road, and I'm going to shows. Like, I did a show last night, and it was a couple in the front row, and it was their first date.
Aw.
yeah,
They
yeah.
met on a dating app. It was their first date, and they had a mask on and everything, but they decided they want to come to a comedy show for a first date, which is the worst date ever, by the way, guys. Don't come to a comedy show for your first
I
date.
disagree,
But
but okay.
I
no, it is
disagree
because you can't
too.
talk to each other. Like, the first day, you
Well,
need to be conversing. You need to learn about each other. You come to a comedy
No,
show. The comedy show and
some
the movie are the worst first dates ever.
I
You can't
disagree.
talk. Hold
That
up. Hush your
sometimes
mouth,
that's the
James.
okay, if you're not
James, I'm
laughing
talking
at
to the
the
white.
same
I'm talking to
person,
Mike Hurley. Mike is agreeing with me. Michael, do you agree with me?
100%, man.
Thank you, Michael.
100%. If a guy takes you to a movie or somewhere else where someone's doing all the talking on the first date, it means he's just want to buy you dinner, take you to a show, and have sex with you. He doesn't care
Yeah,
about
man.
finding
Yeah.
doesn't care
that
about finding out about
first
you.
off,
And real
Movies,
first
talk.
off,
movies, and shows
that
are where you go when the relationship's
Right.
dead and you've run out of things to talk
Tell him,
about.
Mike, and I'm having sex right now. Y'all don't even
listen,
know it.
I guess I'm such a sucker for comedy that I would love, like, if someone took me to a comedy show, I'd be like,
yes,
you know your audience.
But that's different
yes.
because you know comics.
Mhm.
You're no comedians are your family. If
Yeah,
if it's a woman that doesn't know comedy, how stand up works and all of that, I don't think they'll have that same
that's
love
true.
that you have.
That
I think like
enthusiasm.
a first date need to be like me and my wife. Our first date, we went to Disney, and but we did the around the world. Like, we went to different bars at Disney. Like, we took
Nice.
the boat. We talked. We got to know each other. I mean, she stood me up the first 3 dates, but that's a whole nother story.
Mm.
So like,
No, but
for
that's
me, a
perfect.
comedy club is not a good first date. It's really
Okay,
not.
so Erica, tell me right now, what are some of the more popular social distancing dates that people are doing now,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
are
I'm
they
curious to
are they
know.
doing that? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm curious to
that's a
know.
good question, James. I'm curious
Yeah,
to know.
Well, I know that like in this area, I see I'm not in a metropolitan area or busy area like Orlando or Jacksonville. I mean, I
but
have
you have the beach though. That's a beautiful place you could
yeah,
go,
we have the
right?
beach. So I've noticed in this area, the beach is a great one because you can definitely social distance at the beach. And like Ken said, at a place like that, like Disney, you have plenty of space to interact, to talk, to get to know each other. You don't have distractions. The beach,
Yeah,
you don't have distractions. You're able to spend time with that person and social distance from other people. Um,
nice.
some of the restaurants and bars here have opened up. So I have noticed a lot more people going out for cocktails, because the bars are not allowing people to come up to the bar. You have to like actually sit at a table in order to order
Okay.
drinks. So, I mean,
Got
that's been pretty popular, especially with, the 20 to 30-year-olds, so they're doing that. But everything, I've noticed that everything starts with online dating though. And I feel like, how in the past we've had like first base, second base, those are all like sexual references,
Yeah.
right? But right now it's almost like if you're dating outside, like at a bar, you've already reached like a level of comfort after virtually dating here.
So
If
what
that makes
base
Okay.
is that? What
so
base is
you
that?
can I've known people to have multiple dates in one day because they're doing it virtually, and that takes off the pressure of like what you have to wear. You don't have to have that pressure of kissing or sex at the end of the date because you're doing it virtually. So that in-person date, you're kind of saving that for that person that respects that virtually, if that makes sense.
It
It
makes
does
sense.
make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
what base are we talking though? On virtual dates, what I need to know the basis on virtual dates. What's the basis?
well, I haven't I haven't made like a table yet to see what base is what, but
Ma'am, this comedy. Just make up a base. You
just make it
can be
up.
like, it's a home run. If you get a video
Okay, if
check,
it was
I
me,
saw a
if it
commercial
was
with
me,
Match.com. Is it Match.com? Is it Match? They did a
Yeah.
commercial where they were doing videos where people were meeting on video. Like the girl was falling asleep talking to the guy. And I'm like, that's
Oh,
a
got it.
home
Oh,
run. If you
Erica,
talk to a chick and you get to talk to her and go to bed, like that's a home
that's
run
a
to me.
home run.
that
Really?
is.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
On the
Well,
first
Erica,
date, on
I,
the first date, that's a home run.
I wanted to ask you before we have to go here. Now, we talked about people dating and what they're doing as far as COVID and social distancing. What about my married people who've been in the house together for 4 months now? Any advice for them? Like, what can they do to make sure they don't kill each other? They still make love.
Well, before I get to advice for them, advice for the single people listening, make sure to ask if your partner has been tested for COVID. That is a very
True.
popular question now. It's no longer just STIs. You want to ask if you've been tested for COVID. And if you haven't,
Do you got
get
a
tested
STI
together.
or
That could be
COVID?
a date.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's been like a big topic now. Now, with people that have been indoors this entire time with their partner, I'm going to preach what I preached before. Okay.
Okay.
Like you have to make sure you're giving your partner space. I know that's hard because you're enclosed in the same area, but make
Hmm.
sure that you are taking time to carve out alone time, whether that is working on something in your garage, in the backyard, or if your wife wants to retreat to the bedroom for a little bit, just make sure that you are carving out that time and try not to read into that too much. Like there's a lot of couples out there that, they tend to feel abandoned. Like it's weird. It's people don't want to be stuck together, but yet take offense when their partner doesn't want to be around them. Don't read into it so much.
Gotcha.
It's
People need
not against you.
people need
Don't take
space.
it personal. People need space. If that person is able to take their space and take their mental time out, they're going to be a better person for you. So let it happen, So
That is
that's
great. That I'm saying that is great advice. And Erica, can you please tell everybody where they can get you on social media here before we have to go?
No,
yes.
James, hold up, real quick. James, can we bring her back for the next segment? Because I got a
We sure
big question
can.
for her.
Okay, yes we
I want
can.
you to do
Yes
your
we
thing.
can.
I got a question for you because you're
Okay,
the therapist.
we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Right here on 104.1. Welcome back, everybody. You are still hanging out with Real Laughs on 104.1. I'm your host, Mr. James John. I'm joined with a bevy of good friends in the virtual studio today. I got Mr. Mike Hurley, Ken Miller, and we have Erika Rivera. That's right, sexual health and wellness coach. Thank you again for being with us. Now,
Thank you for
before the
having
break, are you kidding? It's a pleasure. Now, before the break, you were telling us about how it's important when you're in a relationship and you're living with someone going through COVID. You guys have to have equal space, meaning you guys have to both have other interests outside of one another to keep everything, just moving,
because you
in
have to
in
have
a
that
way we're not
healthy
driving each other
balance.
crazy. Yeah.
Right. You need to have that
Yes.
healthy balance between spending time together and spending time alone. And obviously during COVID, it's a little harder because you're stuck together. Before, I'm sure, your partner could have maybe gone out with their girlfriends, or your husband might have been able to have a night out with the guys, whatever. Now we
Yeah.
can't do that. We can't do that. So in order to figure that out, what I was explaining earlier is to make sure you're carving out some alone time, whether that's going into a different room in the house, maybe working on a project,
Hmm.
and of course, like I said, and not taking it personally if your partner needs that time. People tend to read into things a little too much. And
Okay.
during a time like this where we have high anxiety and we're fearful of the future, you have to try to practice some patience and some kindness during a
Hmm.
time of fear, and not take that personally. I also recommend grounding yourself in routines. So you might
Okay.
going, because you might be going stir crazy at home and you don't have a sense of normalcy, and grounding yourself in routines is going to cause that normalcy for you. So whether that's
Hmm.
waking up at a certain time, taking the kids to school at a certain time, or scheduling their schooling, because right now, a lot of schooling is virtual.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
if you set out a routine for yourself for the day, that is going to give you some sense of normalcy in the same way you would have gotten up to go to work or run an errand, etc., etc. So that's going to keep you guys grounded. And then my third point is focusing on small goals with your partner. So just taking it, like I said, anxiety
Okay.
is sometimes is fear of the future. So right now, like, what future are you really looking forward to? So you got to make your
Exactly.
goals. Yeah, you got to make your goals small and like plan things out with your partner, include them in that process. And
Well,
like, you know,
yeah, well, this just pops in my head. If you're home right now with your partner, isn't this the perfect time to role play? Like, isn't this the perfect time to do the things that you've been dying to do? Like, I've always wanted to act out the fantasy of playing runaway slave loose in the house. Like, I've always wanted to do that.
Bro, you can't do that. You married to a Puerto Rican. You can't be runaway slave and she Puerto Rican. Now, if you were married to a white woman, then you can do runaway slave. You can't do Harriet Tubman. You can't do Underground Railroad and your white Puerto
No,
Rican,
I
James.
want her to be the slave so I can be telling her, I told
Oh
you
my
to
God.
stop
Hold up.
running. Like,
Hey, police, come get James John. He need to be arrested.
Somewhere there's a woman asking her husband, "What's your fantasy? To be a widow."
Yo, I'm weird like that. My fantasies are different. Like I
oh,
like
talk about it, Ken.
dude, I like
let's go.
scrubs. So if my woman could showed up in a pair of scrubs,
Ken,
like I'm
Ken,
like a
Ken,
nurse,
Ken.
bruh.
Me and my wife
Ooh,
do it all the time. Michelle wears
ooh.
scrubs every day. She'll come home and I will tell her, nurses are my thing. And I feel,
Bruh.
yeah.
Like
See,
I'm a type of
you
dude. Like
guys, I'm so
okay.
jealous. See,
Okay, for real,
you
for real.
guys are married. You guys have this time with your spouse now. Take advantage. Me, I'm single and I still have my EMT uniform with my stethoscope in the closet, and I can't use it with nobody right now. So,
Well, so,
okay, so
James, I
being married
don't
and
want to take
stuck
my clothes
together
off, bro.
is
Bro,
not
hold
that
up. I
bad.
got my Crocs
no,
on too. God, I'm so
it's
sorry. Jesus
it's
Christ. Jesus
it's
Lord, have
not.
mercy. Have
It's
mercy.
not, man.
No,
I'm
for
gonna
real,
play.
baby. The reason I want you to stay for the next segment. You talk about dating, sexual stuff, and as men, we got a lot of single guys that listen to our show. What's the
Mhm.
True.
perfect first date?
The
Like,
perfect first.
what can a guy listen to the show right now? Because most of our listeners are dudes. They're
Mhm.
gonna go out. They're gonna meet somebody on Match, on
Good question.
Tinder, Plenty of Fish, whatever. What's the perfect first date that they can take a young lady to for them to be in there? What's what like? And I'm not talking COVID time. I'm just talking about
In
period. What's the
general,
perfect for like for you?
okay.
If one
So
of us met you and we're like, yo, we gotta take you on a date. What's your perfect first date?
Good
So
question, Ken. Good one.
that is a great question, and I will base this response off of my preferences in addition to my expertise, only because everyone is different. So I may pull out a perfect first date right now that someone might be listening and be like, "That sounds like an awful time." But in general, so your Disney date would be a good I'm not going to use it, but that's a good perfect first date because you're giving yourself time to get to know the other person, and you want the other person to feel heard and like
And I
care
agree
about
with you.
their
It was
interests.
my favorite date of any date I've ever been on. Me and my wife's first date at Disney was the best date I have ever been on in my life.
Well,
That sounds good.
It sounds
Like, Ken,
amazing, to be honest.
I would date you to do that. Like, I would,
Wait, wait.
I would date you right now.
All
So
right,
right
James,
now,
we gone. Cut
I'm
James off, Mike.
oh my God. I'm going to talk about a first date that I recently had and that I thought was perfect in my eyes, especially with
Okay.
COVID. I'm going to associate it with COVID a little bit. But this individual, I met them at a bar. So I went to a bar with a girlfriend, social distancing, of course. And the bartender, he caught my eye. And he,
Ooh.
yes, long story short, he asked me out. And it's crazy how a lot of gentlemen, if you're a gentleman, a lot of people forget how to really take a girl out, old school, like just these are the plans. This is what time I'm picking you up. When a gentleman takes that initiative, it is amazing because I don't have to think about anything. And
You
this
like
guy,
that? Like, that's a
I
good
love
thing.
that. I love that. Like the guys that I have tried to date in the past that are like, hey, I can meet you here maybe sometime. I'm like, that's not
Okay.
really that's not really a date. So this guy, he's like, do you have plans tomorrow? I said, no, I don't. And he's like, well, now you do. I'm going to pick you up at 11.
Ooh, that's
I was-
Cobra
I
Kai
was
right
like,
there. Strike first.
what? I was like, oh, okay, I guess I do. Like, how do you say no to that? I'm like, okay, cool. 11. And it's a day date at that, which I enjoyed. So picks me up. It like literally picked me up at my house. We went out for pizza, something that we can do while social distancing. And over pizza, we discussed like, our childhood and, stuff like that. Like we got into like deep conversations about our lives. And again, I think that's the cuffing thing right now is like people just go right into the serious, but I was okay with that. After pizza, we walked right across the street to the beach. So we had the whole beach to ourselves pretty much because everyone is far apart. And we walked on the beach. We took a little swim together again. And we're talking this whole time about our interests and everything. And then we ended up climbing onto the lifeguard tower and we fell asleep on the lifeguard tower together.
What?
Yeah,
you being a real scallywag, but keep it going. You being real stank right now, baby.
just,
But I love it.
wrapped up in our towels and and when you're out in the sun, it exhausts you anyway.
It's exhausting. Yeah,
And that's the thing. He was appropriate the whole time. We didn't fall asleep because of, we fell asleep because we were on the beach all day.
Good
And
Lord.
then afterwards, walked me to his car. He drove me home. Like no moves were made. No inappropriate moves were made, and he asked me if I would be interested in a second date. It was very proper. It was really nice. And to me, like that type of date where like where the other person can take the initiative, plan the date out, seriously get to know me for who I am, and then, offering if we could go on a second date, didn't expect anything from me. It was perfect. Like that. And
Hold up, but wait a minute though. But you still single. What happened to this guy?
well, I didn't say we're still not dating. I'm just not. I'm not in a committed. Right. I'm technically single. I'm not in a committed relationship.
Okay, cool.
But he is someone that I took interest in, and we do still see each other.
Your perfect date is a guy taking initiative and putting stuff together.
And putting stuff together is the perfect date. It kind of takes that stress off the girl from having to, because we don't know what you expect, and we get just as nervous, So when someone tells me exactly what they want to do, and it makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel comfortable because I don't have to.
Old Testament love. That's Old Testament love.
Now I wanted to
My
ask
first
you.
date is
Go ahead.
I
I'm sorry,
take
Mike.
the girl to meet every one of my ex-girlfriends just so they know when I tell those stories, they know I wasn't making any of it up. I'm like, see, right? Crazy. Psychopath. This one. I just want you to see everything I'm not looking for all at once.
Hey, was that the one?
No. I want to ask Erika a question. Now, Erika, in the past, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say. By the way, now the Disney thing is like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I really want to do that now during COVID because like the parks are like empty. It would be so cool.
It's like you go to all the bars at Disney, all the hotels. So we went to a bar. We drank there, and then we took the boat to the next bar. We drank there, then we took the tram to the next bar. We drank there, and we took the bus back to the bar that we started at. And it rained on us. Like it was such an amazing date. You know what I mean? And we both had planned it all out. It was such an amazing date. We planned it all out. And the Disney jumping from hotel to hotel for bar to bar. Now I don't know if the bars are open, So I don't know if it'll work now, but
Right.
but we were bar hopping. Like we
I
didn't
was
eat.
I was at Epcot last week. You can still get alcohol
Okay,
everywhere
cool.
in Epcot.
They
Yeah.
got
Nope.
one of the hotels got a game room. They got like we can play games. So we went to one spot and we bought the card and we played games
You
and everything.
essentially went on multiple dates in one
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
That's what
They had-
I find exciting about it. Because
you
I went on
downloaded
one date.
Subway
You went on
Surfers.
like 10
We
dates
went
in
on
one
10
day.
dates. And the crazy thing about it was we played a game called Subway Surfers. And we end up downloading it to our phone, and me and Sean would fight every night about who got the highest score. Like we would be
Aw,
laying
all right,
in bed
nice,
like, yo, I'm killing you,
nice,
and I got the
nice.
highest score right now. By the way, just
So
I
I
got
wanted to
some-
ask you, Erica. You told me on my TV show that shameless plug the lowdown, Xfinity Comcast channel 1623, that men get intimidated when you tell them what you do. So I'm dying to know this gentleman that took you out for pizza. You guys had a nice time on the beach. What was his reaction when you said what you did? Like, how did he take that?
So I was pleasantly surprised. He wasn't very intimidated by it. But
Okay.
he's also I guess it's real laughs. He's also younger than me.
Oh.
I
How much
usually
younger,
don't
though?
I usually don't date younger.
No, how much younger?
Oh God. He is
2 years, 4 years,
more than that.
10?
5,
More than
6,
You
7,
10? He 21? He 20?
Eight.
You
9.
eight.
you date my son? You dating Junior?
So how tough is dating him if he's still doing virtual learning during the day? Do you have to wait till like his mom signs him off
No,
before you guys can FaceTime? Or-
She teaching this kid algebra
knew.
right now.
And I was gonna walk right into that. I'm like, do I tell them?
Nah, you
Oh,
can tell us.
But
Funny, you
Now-
gotta work.
now,
You said he
tell
told
me-
we was gonna make fun of you.
Tell me, like, after you guys go to a restaurant, you eat. Like, do you burp him, or does he wait for his mom?
Are dates cheaper because he can order off the kid menu, or how's that work?
You gotta put him in the car seat.
Car
Hey,
seat.
I need an Uber.
I knew
need an
this was gonna
Uber
happen.
car seat. Any Uber with car seat.
Oh, that's
But-
funny.
yeah,
No, age is just a number, and that number's too
Gotcha.
low.
Now we're about to be out of time here. We have 30 seconds. Erica, I want you to tell everybody where they can find you on social media, please.
so on Facebook, Sex Coach Erica. On Twitter, Sex Coach Erica. On Patreon, Sex Coach Erica. Just one
Very
word.
nice. Thank you so much, Erica, for being here. You were very informative today. We're definitely going to have you come back again. Thank you for always being.
You can make fun of me being the youngest cougar ever? Okay, cool.
Oh yeah,
Yes!
no, we gonna as soon as you log off, we gonna make fun of you. You
No.
about to
All right. Guys, don't go anywhere. Stick around with Real Labs 104.1. Welcome back, everybody. You are still listening to Real Labs. Thank you guys, as always, for joining and supporting us. I want to remind you, you can always go download all our past shows from the iHeart app. You can always follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and now YouTube. That's right. Go to our YouTube channel, Real Labs. You can like, comment, and please subscribe to it. We need more listeners out there. I'm tired of just hearing from my mom. Okay. It is me, your host, Mr. James John. I'm joined in studio, as always, his virtual one, with Mr. Mike Herlihy. And we have Ken Miller, who had to go take a tinkle break, and he needed a buddy to do it. Always be safe. And we have Erika Rivera with us still. That's right. She's been giving us tips on dating. That's right. For the new cuffing season for COVID, and also how to keep your relationship still going and not get on each other's nerves if you are together with someone in this special time. You know what I can't imagine to be good during COVID? It's hard enough finding somebody to be with. Can you imagine living with someone and going through a COVID breakup?
Oh,
Can you imagine
Oh.
being in the same house and you can't sit, you can't leave? Like, that's the thing. You know how guys can do that one thing where we can storm out when we have an argument? You can't really do that in the middle of a COVID pandemic, so you just have to storm out to the next room and kind of.
well, yeah, I actually have a client who's been going through that since April. They broke up right as COVID was starting. So
Mhm.
that's when like things were intense and no one was leaving their house at all. And
No.
she like was telling me how, yeah, they had to like go to separate rooms in the house. There was a lot of friction. And you know, what's really important during a time like that too is, and we didn't talk about this before, is like domestic violence is on a rise right now. Like people
Is
being
it really?
Oh, yes, during COVID. Yeah. The domestic violence rate has gone up during COVID because a lot of people are
Child
stuck.
abuse too.
They're
You got to
stuck
think
with
about
their
the
abusive
kids being harmed
partners.
too.
Yeah.
That's
And with
crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and with people being stuck together, like, the advice I gave about carving out time and this and that, like, I can give advice until I'm blue in the face, but if stuff like that isn't being implemented, tempers rise, things can happen. So yeah, during a COVID breakup, like, that's even harder because you've already decided you don't want to be with this person, and now you are stuck in the house with them. So you have to find a system. Even though you're no longer together, you still have to find that healthy balance of how much time to spend in that home together versus, in different rooms, in different spaces.
But think about it though. You sleeping in the same bed still, or does somebody sleep on the couch, or like
And
what happens?
Yeah, in this particular case, they have a guest bedroom, so they've pretty much
Oh, okay.
created a roommate situation. So luckily they have that going. But like, if you're in a one bedroom, I mean,
I'm
yeah,
raising my hand real quick. Look
go
here,
ahead.
men. Any men listen to this show. If you run that house, don't sleep on the couch. That's your house. You make her ass sleep on the couch.
Oh my god.
Keep going, man. I ain't gonna keep
Dude.
sleeping on the couch. In
Dude.
my house, it's my house. I ain't
Dude.
sleeping on no couch no more, Mike.
Dude,
Oh my
I'm right here, Ken. I'm right here.
That's
How many years you know me?
Heat.
You're gonna put me on?
Mike, stop sleeping on the couch, bro. That's your house. But anyway, go
Hey,
ahead, man.
I bought a new couch this year. This one's much more comfortable than the last couch. It's a sectional. I got an ottoman.
That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Like, why is it that the man that owned the house, the man that paid most of the bills in some houses, why we got to sleep on the couch, ma'am? Why is it that we got to sleep on our couch? We pay
I
the
never
bills.
said I
Why?
was for it or against it. I never said.
Okay, let's say you in a relationship with a dude.
Yeah.
He bought you a house. Y'all doing good, and y'all get into an argument. And
Bought
you
me a
guys go
house or is
sleep
it
on the.
our house?
No, he bought you a house. He bought it for you
Like a
because
gift.
you.
Ken, that sounds like a gift. That sounds like it's my house then.
Oh, okay, yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
Never mind. Forget everything I said.
Sorry.
Whatever
Okay.
I did, Mike, delete the last 35 seconds.
No. Because whenever you hear a woman say, "I gave him a baby," then why are we in court fighting over this custody?
There you go, Michael.
That
There
baby.
you go.
That is my baby.
That's right. So
No.
any man listening to the show, we not sleeping on the couch no more, bro. We sleep.
Yes, we
Take
are.
your ass on the couch.
No. I'm going to the couch. I'm gonna tell you why I'm going to the couch. You make a woman angry
Michelle,
enough,
your ass.
bro. Nah, I'm afraid what she gonna do to me in my sleep. I'm going to the couch, bro. No, you're not.
No. Make her go to the couch and lock the bedroom door, James. Come on, bro. You got
Wait a
locks
minute.
on your
No,
door?
bro, she coming through that door. You crazy
Okay,
if you gonna lock
James,
a
I'm gonna
woman
come over
out?
tomorrow, B. I'm gonna dress up as a locksmith. I'm gonna put locks on the door. I got a little Mario Luigi
Okay.
mustache. I got
And
you.
when you come, bring a bulletproof vest for
I
yourself.
will.
Okay.
I'm 50 Cent, bro. I'm gonna be 50 Cent. It's me, a Mario, and I'm gonna make sure you good, bro.
Oh my god, it's funny.
I ain't sleeping on the couch no more, bro.
More of what you have to say.
Oh my!
I
I
ain't
can't
sleeping on the
imagine.
couch no more, bro.
I can't imagine your client going through this. Like, what are they just waiting on? What basically for COVID to end, or like?
Well, obviously, they are trying to discuss, someone moving out. I don't know. Like, we haven't been talking as much as we used to. Funds are tight. I understand that. But last that we talked, they were trying to figure out, like, at the end of COVID, who would be moving out, who would be keeping the house, that sort of thing. As of right now,
Wow.
because it's a 2-bedroom, they just have a roommate situation going. So one room is her room, the other room is his room. They only cross paths when they have to. I mean, yeah, it's COVID, but she finds her time in the mornings to go run because no one's gonna, you can social distance if you're running, so she goes to the park, she does her run. Normally he's out in the evening, does his run, his walk, whatever in the evening. So they are carving time to still be alone with themselves,
Gotcha.
and only spend time in the house when they have to.
That must be the most awkward, loneliest experience that you'd ever have in a relationship.
They're dating.
Like,
they're like virtual. They're still, like she's got her app. Like they're kind of like virtually dating other people and living together. And it's like, it's a very weird thing because, what are you going to do? You like, it's.
think about this though. either of them dating has to be complicated because people gonna ask questions like, "Oh, where do you live? Do you have a roommate? Yeah, it's my ex. Nah, player. Nah, I'm not getting involved with a girl living
Nah,
with her
that
ex.
won't bother me, man. If you and your ex live together, it don't bother me at all. Because when I come over, I'm gonna do some crazy stuff that the ex didn't do. So the ex can hear me being freaky, yo. I'm like, girl, okay, girl, look here, look. I want you to grab the ceiling fan, right?
Oh
I'm gonna
my
cut it on
gosh.
high. When I cut it on high, I'm gonna put the boys on Amazon. I'm gonna get my superhero on, yo.
Ken,
So
Ken, you're the COVID troublemaker over here.
I'm gonna
He
COVID
come in there. I'm
is.
gonna come in there just like Black Panther. Look here, baby. Look,
Look.
this
Oh
this
my gosh.
I got the Black Panther mask on and the Kobe jersey. Like, look, girl, I do not. These my two heroes. These my heroes, girl. Can we do hero sex tonight? Look, now,
Oh,
I want your
Ken's
ex to
gonna be.
hear all this.
Ken wants to be different. She's like, "Oh, girl, he came over. He did something different. What did he do? He put the toilet seat down. Yeah, it was amazing."
Girl, hey James, I'm be like Al Green. Like, look, girl, I want you to throw some hot grits on me. I
Oh,
want your roommate to hear
no.
the grits
Oh,
fall on me, yo.
no.
Look here,
Ken,
man.
I got a theory about that. There is not a lot of black people who are into, submissive stuff and
Oh yeah, yeah.
dominance
I'm not
and
into that
be,
at all. No,
no,
no, we don't
none of
do that.
that.
Black people don't do that.
Because, no, we don't do that. Because if we did, like back in the day, there would have been some freaky slaves. Imagine
Yeah,
that.
we do that.
Like,
We don't do that.
we don't do
Well,
none of that. No.
hold on. We got Mike here. Mike, you ever done some dominatrix stuff? Cause you white.
Beating.
Yeah, Mike.
Stop it. Stop it. We're not going to do that anymore.
No, Mike white. We being racist tonight. Mike, you white.
Oh,
You
my
ever been
gosh.
tied up, stabbed, prodded, drowned? What else? What other stuff white people do during this freaky sex? Drowned, waterboarded.
The
What?
only
Okay, the next time I'm on here, I'm gonna have each race and their kinks.
I've been into gagging girls, but usually just to get them to stop talking, never in a sexual way.
Mike.
Yo, this our last show, James. This it. This our last
Now
show, B.
you on a list. Now you
This
on a
our
list.
last show,
Now you
bro.
on a
This
list,
it.
Mike. Now you
This
on a
our
list,
last
bro.
show.
Good Lord. Okay, that's a great
Oh,
point, Erica. Next time you come on, definitely make a chart for each demographic of what typically they're into. 'Cause I know there's a real list somewhere for stuff
That's
like
a
that,
good
right?
word, typically, because again, it's not a racial thing. It has nothing to do with race. But I can definitely put
No,
something
it
like
doesn't.
that together.
That is hilarious. Okay,
That would be
but
so
yeah,
funny.
I
I'd love to break that down.
I never understood it, that fetish. Like I never understood. Okay, the safe word is stop. Like I never understood like the beating and the
yo,
the ball gag.
hey,
Like that's
James. My safe word is Pasha for Joe.
apostrophe.
Yeah, my
That's
safe word is Olive Garden soup, baby. Pasha
Oh,
for
God.
Joe. I'd be like Pasha for Joe.
Oh.
Yeah, you can stop stabbing me right now, ma'am.
Oh my gosh. I mean I don't I'm not yucking someone's kink, but I'm just saying for me, I just
Yo,
never
one
understood
of my
why that was
favorite
a good thing.
jokes. One of my favorite jokes is the joke Mike does when he does the fantasy joke about getting tased. It's one of my favorite jokes, and
Yes.
he
Yeah.
turns up and comes out. It's one of my favorite jokes because everybody has their fantasy, and like I said, mine is
Yes.
scrubs. Mine is scrubs. I think a woman in scrubs is sexy to me.
God, that EMT
Agreed.
uniform not being used. Not being used right now.
Yeah,
I'm
it's my
staying
thing.
quiet. Yeah. Yep.
It's my thing.
Yep.
But young lady, you're a young lady. What's your fantasy for a guy to come dressed as? If a guy walked in dressed as something, what turns you on, young lady? As a young lady,
Oh God.
Ooh. It's gonna be
if she say
good because
if she
you're
say comedian,
hesitating.
if she say comedian, we all get naked right now.
No, we're not.
Listen, okay, so I have a thing for Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. So, like, if I had a guy trying to cosplay, role play that, I would be all about it.
Oh,
I am a
gotcha.
superhero girl. I like superheroes, specifically Marvel characters, Iron Man. Ugh.
There's nerds right now going, I knew I had a shot with her.
I knew it.
I knew it.
Exactly, with the glasses, I knew it.
I knew it.
With the asthma pump.
Mother.
Hey, mom, I was listening to Real Laughs, and some lady said if I dress like Iron Man, I could get the booty.
The safe word is Stan Lee.
No, the safe word is I'm Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this our last show.
Literally.
This our last show. We getting kicked off after this one.
Listen, there are some
Oh
lady
my
superheroes out there that are hot too. Don't lie.
Yo,
Don't
my
It's
favorite
true.
is Poison
It's
Ivy.
true.
I would
Poison
have sex with
Ivy is
Poison Ivy tomorrow. Poison, I don't know what it is about Poison Ivy. I am in love. Anytime I see Poison Ivy with anything on Batman movies, on what's the cartoon that's on DC right now? Harley
Young
Quinn.
Justice.
Harley
Harley
Quinn.
Harley
Quinn.
Quinn. Okay.
Harley Quinn's Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy is the sexiest
She is sexy.
villain to me. She's
Yes.
like the sexiest
Okay.
villain to me.
Okay.
Yeah, and
All
remember,
right.
guys, I go both ways. So I like female superheroes too. All right. So if a
The
lady,
the the nerd that just heard that's like, Mom, I need 2 pumps.
I don't know.
Guys,
For me, superhero, I'll probably be Storm. Maybe
Storm?
Storm. Storm would be good.
African goddess. All right. Now you've heard it first. You've heard that Ken has a thing for poison ivy and African goddesses. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you tomorrow, Real Last. On behalf of Mike Hurley, Ken Miller, myself, James John, Erika Rivera. You guys have a wonderful night.